Hey there, we have had the latest character updates with us for a few weeks now, and because we have had time to play games and test out some of these updates, I want to talk about some of the biggest winners from the update in question. My name is Nate, and welcome to the Gamers Guild. Now, I want to go ahead and say that while this list isn't in any particular order, I do think that obviously some of the winners from this update are much bigger winners than some of the others. So I'll be assigning either a bronze, silver, or gold medal to the different winners today. And I'm going to start off with the Convocation. This affiliation as a whole just kind of got quietly better. Magic, Clea, and both Doctor Strange models got improvements, and what's more is all of these characters got slightly more durable in one way or another, which is definitely an area that Convocation suffered when they are without the book. They also got an interesting side upgrade with the new wording on their Astral Team Tactic card. This new wording means that Convocation members are now counted as contesting objectives that the projection token is on. So this can be used to help make sure they are securing a certain point if someone like Shuri with a lot of control is available on the opponent's team. As well, it can allow you to now get around the cover giving condition of scoundrels secure objectives. So for me, the Convocation is not a affiliation that I'm fully familiar with. Maybe these are bigger buffs, but to me, they have earned a bronze medal. Several of their members got slight buffs, and Clea now has a reason to be brought, even if it's only as some sort of counter tech for a bunch of the higher threat enemies. Next up, I want to give the only singular shout out, and that is to Bishop. I don't think his play patterns are really any different than what he did before the update, but the timing of that one damage changing to the cleanup phase makes him play a whole lot smoother. No chance to daze at the start of a round, no chance to have him wake up from being dazed to instantly take a point of damage. There's just a whole lot of upside there. The changes are so small, but I think for Bishop, they are also very impactful. So I'm going to award him a silver medal for his update. I know for me at least, he has jumped a few characters on the painting queue, as well his team up card with Gambit, who also got a wording update that I'll talk about a little bit later, uh, was previously a little bit nebulous on whether or not Bishop would take A damage for every attack that got two wilds made with the attack, and now we know that it just maxes out at one damage, which is again a small thing, but not just killing one of your own characters trying to do a cool thing is a really nice benefit, and hopefully we see changes to War Machine amongst others soon with that as well. Next on my list are Black Widow and Rocket. Really, all of the two threats not named Toad and Bullseye are going to feel a bit better, though I do think Widow and Rocket will be the ones to take most advantage of the nerfs to their two threat counterparts. Black Widow can now be a bit more of a premier secure holder at two threat, and I think that Rocket is now the premier range potshot taker. Granted, all of these characters are still going to be taken where they are affiliated, but I think those places that they don't have an affiliated two threat aren't going to just insta lock on Toad or Bullseye. And for that, I give them a silver medal. Next up is another character, but one who technically didn't get updated, but still got a whole lot better. And that is, of course, the guy I'm painting up right now, Apocalypse. Or, well, really, the Horseman of Apocalypse got a really nice buff with the changes. Sure, Toad got hit with a slight nerf, but he is still a very solid 2 threat for the affiliation. Colossus got some major buffs with his added control and added movement with his taunt ability. Both of these things were concerns I had pointed out when it came to the tanky mutant in the past, and those have now been addressed. On top of that, control is not something that Apocalypse's Horseman has a lot of, oddly enough, so some pretty consistent size 4 control is a very welcome addition to the affiliation. Gambit is another horseman who now deserves another look with his offensive output increased, and even more so with rerolls he can obtain along the way with the horseman tokens to fish for some more wilds to really push out some crazy damage. Not to mention, if you give Gambit the roll of death, and he can get 3 extra dice on an attack to really go for some crazy spikes. Magic also got a slight buff to her durability, which could make her a flex down from her brother, who makes a pretty strong candidate for war already. Now, granted, all of these positive things I'm talking about could also be applied to the Professor's X-Men, but, well, Apocalypse was on the painting queue anyway. Either way you want to look at it, I see these buffs to either mutant faction you love worthy of a gold medal. These are some serious ones for the characters, which now have new life to them. Before I move on to the final winner, I do want to take a moment and mention that the finished paint job on Apocalypse took around a cumulative 8 hours between a few different painting sessions. I feel like it's something just worth mentioning so that you don't think that I managed to get him done in like an hour and 30 minutes or anything absurd like that. On to our last big winner, and I'm guessing you could probably guess it at this point because I haven't talked about them yet, but it's the Defenders. Sure, I could point out Clea and Magic getting buffs, and while those are nice side buffs, that primary one was the changes to the original Doctor Strange. On the whole, Doctor Strange got some really nice upgrades. Pierce on his builder, longer range for his healing ability, a full reroll on his dodge roll. These are all great improvements, but the change up on his leadership is massive. The timing change to being used after the attack instead of before is a big plus. It no longer costs a power, also a big plus. You no longer get to choose an attack type, which is something that was very cool, but the positives you're getting with it instead, I feel like more than balance it out. Not to mention the guaranteed hex on a 5 threat character. I think this has blown open a lot of doors for the Defenders that were cracked open when Daredevil got his leadership. This affiliation that has one of the biggest rosters of members had a very strong leadership option that really wanted to play with the frontline brawlers, but ignored some of the other characters in the affiliation and their playstyle. They were set up with some great team tactic cards with Silver Sable and Shang-Chi's pack, and with this update, the options just continue to go up for the Defenders. So, this update for Doctor Strange gets another gold medal, but not just because the updates to him are great, but because the change to his leadership reinvigorates this entire affiliation. So, these were the 5 biggest winners from the updates after getting some games in. What have you been playing since the update from a couple weeks ago, and what do you think of the changes so far? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to take a moment here at the end to thank the guild's sponsor, Game Chefs, for continuing to support the efforts made by me in the video realm, as well as the efforts of the podcast team. If you are shopping online in the US, please consider doing so with Game Chefs. Shipping is always free, and you can use the promo code GamersGuild, no spaces, for 15% off of your purchase. Along with that, I want to say thank you for the very generous people who are here and have been supporting the Gamers Guild on Patreon. Your contributions genuinely, very genuinely help keep the podcast going by helping take care of the fees and costs associated with, well, podcasting. And cannot thank the people who are willing to spend your money on that. That is some of the highest kind of compliment you can give us. So thank you all. If you enjoy what I or the podcast have been doing, if you would be willing to consider looking at donating even just $1 a month, if not more, to help us out, I would greatly appreciate it. Helps keep everything flowing here nicely. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep on gaming.